Hello and welcome to IBTimes TV. I'm Leanna Bridger, an editor for the International Business Times. Joining me now is the artist Israel Zohar. Hi, so thanks for joining us.
Hello, thank you.
Well, you were the original commissioned artist for Princess Diana many years ago. What made you want to do a portrait so many years later?
Well, when you are commissioned to do a portrait of Diana, it's an historical moment and a great commitment that is imposed on your poor shoulders. And at the time I felt a great responsibility to portray her very much in the way the world was expecting her to look: glamorous, successful, happy, calm, if you like, and all that. When I came to the palace to meet her, I sensed a very different I would say atmosphere and personality in her, which was not so much known then to the public. And I wasn't sure if I should bring that forward, and I thought it's not my duty to expose that side in her, the loneliness and unhappiness and bitterness and so on. So I did a portrait which was basically to please the world and expectations, and there were a lot of expectations about this portrait. But year passed by, and just not so long ago, I sat with a friend, a journalist, and we were talking about things we missed and things we would do better and things we haven't done and so on. And I mentioned to her that I would do the portrait, if I knew then what I know now, I would do the portrait differently. And she just, it started almost, I wouldn't say a joke, but just an idea came up. She said to me, "Why wouldn't you do it?" And I said to her, "What's the point doing it now?" She said, "Never mind, I send out a press release and we'll see the reaction." And I was amazed how much enthusiasm was thrown all around at me about this new portrait that I wasn't even planning to do. So all of a sudden, I had a project on my hand to do it the way I always visualized it. And I had pictures of her standing, as I did it later. And in those pictures, I felt that the combination of sadness and kindness and all what her personality represents was very well portrayed in those pictures. And I was hoping that I'll be able to materialize it or manifest it properly. So that's what I did. And I did a portrait. To my amazement, came out very well, and I was very happy and very pleased with it. So that's how it came about. And all of a sudden, it connected me back to the time of meeting her. And I must say, it was quite an emotional journey for me to do the portrait and having Diana appearing, coming back to life all of a sudden. And I put a lot of, usually I try to stay professional, and I don't bring much emotion into my work. I try to judge it and look at it as much as I can objectively. But I found myself more and more emotionally engaged in the portrait. And at a certain point, even though it was a bit raw and not completely finished, I felt that I said what I wanted to say and portrayed her the way I wanted her to be remembered. Or kind on one hand and quite a tragic figure on the other. And I think my objective feeling is that I did it.
And you've obviously talked about, this feeling of a legacy that you're, bringing back to the surface with this new portrait. Yeah. How would you say that maybe change or reinforcing some ideas about Diana years on?
Well, there is the public face that most people know, and there is the private face that not many people know. And I was quite fortunate to be there and witness a moment in her life which was quite hidden and unknown to most of the people. And I don't know how much I share with the world when I bring her forward, but I share my private moment with her and I bring it to others, and whatever I can add to her legacy and expose and bring it a little bit greater than life, if you like, because that's what art does. It touches those elements of eternity, if you like. And I feel as if with that portrait, I brought her back to life, into eternity, to be remembered forever. And I think a painting can do that. Photograph, I'm not sure can do that, but a painting certainly can. And I hope I did it.
Yeah, that's the exact point from obviously the modernity of having photographs, and even to the extent of having mobile phones now. Sometimes it's forgotten how important fine art is. Do you see maybe other, I don't know whether it's the other parts of the royal family or other areas in society that would really benefit from having more fine art to promote its legacy?
Strangely, you know, the portraiture, the art of portrait hasn't died. On the contrary, it is now even more important than ever. And what a portrait can portray in terms of personality, in terms of soul of a person, I don't think a photograph can do. And it happened to me many times in the past that I did portraits of dead people. I was commissioned, and I did it from photographs, obviously. And always the people who commissioned it said that the painting brings back to life the person, which the photograph can't do. And portraiture will always stay important. And I believe the whole legacy of the royal family, which here means so much to people and all that, will not exist without the portraits which follow it and accompany it all along the line. I think it's very, very essential. And artists will all the time be commissioned and asked to do portraits of the royal family. And I think they will be most remembered visually by those portraits.
Exactly. And I mean, moving from photographs to portraits, the most photographed woman in the world, I would assume, is Kate Middleton, our Duchess of Cambridge. Yeah. What's the sense in terms of her personality or an essence that you get from those photographs? And because it's very difficult, like you said, to gauge it from that.
Yeah, it's hard to judge. You know, my personal impression maybe is not the correct one. Maybe it's just what it seems to me. It feels as if she's a little bit overwhelmed by the attention. I think she's very, very shy and humble and unprepared for this, how shall I say, tsunami of attention and all that. And she tries at her best to do it. I think she does extremely well. I think she does a beautiful job. And she's very cute and very nice. And I think she will, in time, she'll replace Diana quite successfully. There's no doubt in my mind.
And would she be an ideal subject for you to paint maybe later on?
After what happened to the previous artist, I'll think twice or more than twice if I ever would ask to paint her. But it would, I believe for me, it would be nice if I'll still be around in 10 years' time to be asked to do her portrait. It will be good for her. I don't know if it will be good for me, but she's still, it's interesting because she's now older than Diana was when I painted her. But Diana looked more ready for the role, while I think Kate Middleton is still a way to go till she learns she's suitable. I don't know why, but that's my feeling.
Sure. And I suppose, like you, I mean, you're an esteemed portrait artist, and you said that over the years now, especially with the new Diana portrait, that you become a lot more emotionally attached or invested in them. So on that same note, I suppose, are there any individuals that you would love to paint a portrait of because you have some emotional connection that you would like to portray on canvas?
Yes. Well, first of all, I'm an artist, and there are few artists which I like to do their portraits. And artists not in terms of painting, but also musicians and actors and so on. Anybody who is a creative person has something in his face that I would love to do. There are many great opera singers, many great musicians, many great actors that I would be delighted to do their portraits. They have faces to die for. And if they just say, maybe I'll be there.
Any examples?
Placido Domingo, for instance. I would love to do his portrait. Jeremy Irons, I'm dreaming to do his portrait, and so on and so forth. It's endless. Some of the greatest musicians, some of the greatest... David Hockney, if he will be sweet to me, I'll do his portrait.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
The royal family is undoubtedly a major part of British culture, but how their legacy lives on is actually through art. Joining us earlier was Israel Zohar. He's the famous portrait artist that was commissioned to paint Princess Diana in 1990, and he spoke to us about art, the aesthetics, royal family and Kate Middleton.